Welcome back to Radio Free Freedonia, where my lovely co-host Lady Styx, our unofficial co-host Mr. Pink, are joined by Always Right Maddie. I see we have Odyssey in the house, and Dire Sith Lord's back. Thank you everybody for being here. I wanted to talk about Aetherstream, and I know that and Maddie, you're going to be a big help for this. There is lore for the different factions, but I think people are hungering for more of it. Instead of being just absolutely correct that the Babylonian fleet is the bestest fleet, and you didn't need to know more than that.
Well, it's the most expensive fleet so far, so.
It's the prettiest fleet. It is muscle car sexy fleet. Obviously bestest fleet.
Unobtainium fleet.
Oh, for now.
For now. We're getting there. We've got a couple of the ships and we are getting the rest.
I think that's
or
right.
I'm going overseas and killing people. So start getting that bail money together.
I cannot, on principle, agree that it's the best fleet if it's unobtainium.
It is the best fleet.
Well, I've seen the stats.
That's true. Maddie would have seen the stats. And it's the bestest fleet. It is. It is. Maddie, be on my side.
You're telling me just to take everything Maddie says for granted.
His name is Always Right Maddie.
Oh, I understand that.
Like, we're putting it on a t-shirt as soon as I quit being busy and remember at the same time.
So never.
Office Ogress has not let me forget that is on my horizon. I need to get onto it. But I had actually had thoughts about making it before going into Gen Con, but after what Ross did to your hat, I can't trust that. I have to do it like after Gen Con so that Ross has nothing to do with it. You know what happened to your hat. Ross.
I know what happened to it.
Ross is what happened to your hat. He meant well. He did.
I know exactly where it is.
Yeah, in the U.S. still, a fucking year plus later.
It's vacationing in a warm, sunny spot in Florida.
Yeah, a year plus later. Not quite a year plus later. But darn near a year later, it is still in the United States, whereas I had someone who's going to put it in their luggage and then send it to you in Australia. I had it all planned. I had it worked out. Had your address, had your permission, the whole thing. And then I turned back around from stuff and Ross has Rossed. He meant well, though. Did you? So I was
Ross
on
as
other...
a verb.
Ross as a verb. Dave is also a verb, but it's a different verb. I was on that other podcast this morning, and we were talking because Ross had come up here. I had helped get him in touch with the local convention, Tremendicon, and apparently Keith interviewed Ross while he was down here for Tremendicon. And he also thinks that Ross and Carol are the sweetest humans ever. Because they are. Not that I will admit that anywhere while I'm trying to get fired. But they really are.
Says the woman who's recording this for posterity.
He never listens to these. He doesn't listen to these.
Hell. Well, are you sure about that?
Yes, very sure.
I've seen him pop up in places where I would never expect him to.
See, I expect him to pop up in some of those places, especially after company meetings where I'm laughing about them, because he tends to pop up after I've been giggling and snickering about it. But this, I don't, unless I drag him to come and be on, he's never on here. Bearded Kilt, the pictures of the ships do make it look like they have the same swirly streaks. I guess it's not as bad as I was thinking. Swirly streaks? What are we talking about?
Probably paint.
Oh, is that what we're talking about? Maddie, help me out. I'm lost.
That message link that I just posted.
Yes. As in response to something that... so, Bearded Kilt has purchased ships and has been painting them.
Oh.
And it was a whole conversation that occurred not during the podcast. It was post podcast, and it was fantastic. And
Well, his ships are now on. He should, yeah, because they'll be on the recording because I'm now looking at the pictures.
yes, and he
Good
was
job.
deeply concerned that it was streaky and it was not turning out the way he had hoped for. And I had commented that I thought it made it. Actually, I think they were fantastic.
They're
I don't think
good,
there's
but I
been
can
any
see what he's talking about
negative
the paint, and I'd really like to know what he's using for his primer.
It's not
well,
that.
what-
It's speed
it's-
paint markers that he's using.
Yeah,
Speed
he's using
paint
the Army
markers?
Painter speed paint markers.
Yes.
Oh no, I have no experience with those, so I have
now,
no idea how
now-
those
Not
are.
suitable. Not suitable
Your-
for this sort of thing.
Your stencil comment has, however, sent Odyssey down a deep dark hole, and all I've heard about lately is the stencils that he needs to get for his projects now.
They're not
I'm-
stencils. They're
I'm
we need
very sorry.
stencils.
Oh, excuse me, stamps. He wants to try stamps. Yeah.
I've seen those stamps. I think they're cool.
Oh.
I don't own any sets of them.
They are very cool, and I've
Odyssey
actually
is
been looking
from-
for them
from
for
the
quite some
tired-
time.
So
If they
yeah,
had one with the Calistonian Starburst, I would buy it in a heartbeat and not use anything but that.
I am actually
Since they don't.
practicing to, before I put it on my ships, I'm practicing getting that starburst right.
It's really simple. It's just two overlapping crosses,
Stars. Yeah.
and one of them is half the size of the other.
Andy,
This
do
looks
not.
a lot
do not
like I know what
you're-
this is.
you're-
This looks like doing
so,
the nail stamps. Yeah, nail stamping. That's exactly what that
It
is.
is.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what it is, except for somebody got smart and realized, well, gee, this would work really well for miniatures. And so they put out a kit that's designed specifically for miniatures. There's a heraldry one, there's a Romanesque one.
Which means I can use the
there's a
lion from my
sci-fi one.
Babylonian fleet. Get some gold paint and
Yes.
Decided.
Yep.
Yeah. Comes with the one that I just posted, comes with red, black, and white, and
I can
four
get gold paint.
templates, and the rest of it's
and it's got lion
easy.
heads right there.
Yep.
So I was thinking I was
As
going to
I'm
have
learning,
printed little bitty
Maddie,
stickers, and like,
Well, I'd also love decals.
I'm so
And,
I love that.
And no,
So
they don't
Odyssey,
have the Calistonian star, unfortunately.
Odyssey,
But
are you? Wait a minute, Odyssey, are you in the online in Discord in the podcast text?
I'm in two places at once.
Ha ha ha. What do you think of Maddie's comment about painting is doing makeup on war dollies?
it's
Oh,
true.
absolutely.
True.
I want to get some of those makeup sponges and start trying to use those.
Oh yeah, that
But
makes
I
life
refuse to
lot
at $33 a piece, which is the only price you can buy them here at. I'm like,
Get the cheap
Oh.
ones from Walmart. Oh, wait a minute, you're in Australia.
I was going to say
Yeah,
they the
nearest
Dollar
Walmart is
Tree. I was going to
10,000
say go to
miles
the
away.
Dollar Tree. I'm a cheap person. Go to the Dollar Tree but yeah.
It might. It might
Wait,
be
wait.
cheaper.
No. This is
Maddie,
what
for
we
us
do,
to
Maddie.
purchase them and mail them to you.
That you're close. So when we get Maddie's t-shirt made, we should buy him some cheap ones from Walmart and like shove that in with the shirt as packing to protect your shirt.
That's true.
There you go.
We totally should do that.
That's what we can do. Hi, Philip. Hi, Sarah in the background, just in case.
Hello.
When? So we're discussing the ships and things like that, and again lore. So one of the things that we were discussing last week on the other podcast was how very cool this was, and I put a bee under Dawn's bonnet that apparently we need heralding. But anyhow, we need cool
Heraldry.
pins to go with our favorite, faction. And so we need cool faction pins. And so I have pointed out this, and I'm hoping to light a fire under Mr. Higgins so that we can do faction pins. But it was this conversation about how the lore is really important and that we are expanding on it. And I know that there are parts of the lore in the different books already, but I know that we need to flesh that out more as we go. That it's really important to people to have that lore, as well as picking out which fleet they like best. And I was reminded of this. I don't know, Maddie, did you see I had asked about if you're going to do a LARP? And somebody was like, we should be pretend like we're 7 and, be in the, oh no, if you don't turn, you'll have to run out into traffic because you have to have, right? And I was like,
Yeah.
I would have played that. Because, playing spaceships sounds awesome.
Hell yeah.
But it goes back to to do something like that, we need more lore, I think. And I think we're working on it. And I figured you would know more about that than anybody that's here. Because getting Todd here is pulling teeth some days.
Well, Todd's been busy today.
He is.
He's been working on a new set of rules.
I noticed that.
It is very exciting, and I'm looking forward to it. In fact, I have very purposefully not read the rules that are being replaced, because why would I do that when new rules are coming out?
Because it might take
I mean,
forever.
honestly, have you considered that just reading the rules in general was no fun? I don't believe in rules. I don't believe in rules. I'm just playing with miniatures. Look at my cool spaceship.
Doesn't work that way,
It
unfortunately,
does.
Andy.
Totally works that way. Absolutely.
Unfortunately, you'll find that the rule set that's being worked on at the moment relies on knowledge of the rule set in the current book for
where's the fun in
terms
that?
and things.
Where's the fun in that?
We make games not fun around. Oh wait.
So if you want it to be completely standalone and just excise the previous chapter from the book, then Todd would need to write another 10 to 15 pages in this document that's already 16 pages long, probably 20 at this point, because he's been writing all day.
All right, I'll read the old rules for fighters, and I'll understand them.
Just so you get the terms and concepts at least.
Well, I have most
because
of
there's
that.
a lot of assumed knowledge.
Yeah, I have a lot of that already, so.
Oh, that's good.
So, factions. Can you give us a kind of a brief on why the Babylonian is the best faction?
Well, they're different to the other ones.
That's always good. We like different. And they have cooler ships, but that's not really lore.
So long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, nothing happened.
That's a different IP.
That's why I said nothing happened. In the far, 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 far flung future, all of humanity was living together in peace and harmony under a single unified interstellar government. Right? It's called the Commonwealth. Then some dudes in the Commonwealth said, you know what, I don't like these people over here. And they bombarded the shit out of their planet and killed billions of people. And humanity fractured and splintered. One of the nations that came out of the fracturing and splintering is the Babylonian Union. And the Babylonian Union is very much the truest inheritor of the intentions and government style of the old Commonwealth. They're all about self-governance at a local level and mutual defense and support and interstellar trade and helping people out and not being dicks.
I love them.
Yeah, but what color
That's
are they?
awesome. Doesn't matter. I'll paint the ships whatever color I want.
That.
But green and gold, I believe.
The canon colors are green and gold.
I got it right. Success
I'll
for
change them
Andy.
anyway.
Oh, I'm gonna paint mine like purple and teal. I'm just saying. But they're the
Well, I've seen
bestest.
purple
Maddie
and
just
teal
explained.
ships already today.
I like purple and teal. I like purple.
I
and
will
teal.
say, with all of the benefits of the style of the Babylonian government, they also get really
They get what?
like if you read the campaign supplement, there is a star system that's being invaded within their sphere of influence, but they're not formally a part of the Union. And so they have to petition the Union Senate for formal admittance before they get formal military support. And that takes years.
That sounds
So these guys
governmenty.
might be... It's governmenty. It's all of the worst things of a slow-moving democratic bureaucracy that we know and love from today. There's no decisive action like the Terran Commonwealth does. Those are the guys who went and blew up a planet for lols. Yeah.
And as the Chaldeans work into the lore.
Okay, so...
They're Klingons. No, I'm kidding.
No, they're not.
No, they're more like Vulcans. They have Vulcan-like ships. Pointy ships.
So the primary conflict of the 5 fractured interstellar nations, and calling them nations isn't even technically accurate, but the Terran Commonwealth were the guys who bombarded a planet called Mu, killing billions of people. Mu is not part of either the Commonwealth or the Empire, but one of the Sky Marshals who was in charge of an entire interstellar cluster of worth of ships, Anastasia Callisto, saw the genocide happening, and she's like, you know what, fuck you, I'm going to try and stop you. So she attacked the fleet that was bombarding Mu and then broke off and took all of her people back home and set up her own nation to fight the dickheads in charge, with the ego trip running the Terran Commonwealth, the bad guys who were bombing that planet. And so in Star Wars terms, the Empire is the rebels. If that's basically what they are there.
But who's the Ewoks? Did you know Ewoks are cannibals? Like, this is a whole thing that
Absolutely.
Yes, of course. How else do you think that they had human-shaped clothing for Princess Leia when there were no other women anywhere in Star Wars?
I'm sorry, Ewoks are not cannibals. They do not eat other Ewoks.
No, they only
Yes,
eat
they
sentient
do.
beings. And
They
I
are
just learned this
carnivores.
today. They're carnivore. Well, I mean, I'm a carnivore, but I don't usually eat sentient things.
Well, no, humans are omnivores.
You would eat dolphin if you could.
Oh, totally,
I was
because
gonna
dolphins
say.
are scary bastards
Ooh.
who should all die.
Ooh. Wow, that was a low shot.
They're scary bastards.
Not really. I
Ever
know
since
Andy.
Wow.
It is
hasn't
well-known
been-
fact that they are scary bastards. I'm just saying.
Tuna
Okay,
has not
I'm
been the
gonna
same
say-
since they made a
I'm going to
dolphin.
say something that is not going to be accepted by most, but dolphin tastes delicious.
I am fine with that because they're scary rapist bastards. So I'm okay with that.
Why do you
Don't
think
even get her started on dolphins, guys. Please, please don't get her started on dolphins.
I will have dolphin
Tuna was
nightmares.
way
It'll be
bigger.
bad. And she'll have to hear about it tomorrow. And then the dolphin touched me in the no-no zone and I screamed and I stabbed it in the eye and I don't know. Ducks are worse.
What you're saying,
Or
what
maybe,
you're saying
I don't
is Aetherstream will not get any dolphin-shaped ships anytime soon.
No, fuck dolphins.
No, that was Star Trek.
Fuck dolphins.
Wow, guys.
Apparently, people don't know the difference between tuna and dolphins because they were putting it in the cans and none of us noticed.
No, it was much better back then. People used to eat a lot more tuna because of delicious dolphin.
See?
Exactly.
Just I'm okay with that. Kill all the dolphins.
Yeah, just stay away from the whales. That's all. Also, orcas are not whales. Orcas are dolphins.
Exactly.
Fish is fish. Come at me, bro.
Technically,
We
they're
do have a
mammals.
planet that is mostly water.
Which
It's
one?
called Atlantis.
Ooh.
Atlantis
he-
is a prime planet sitting at the center of an interstellar
So it is a jump gate.
cluster of... Well, the prime planets, and there's 24 of them, all sitting at the ends of Aetherstream routes. And the Aetherstream is like the rivers of anti-space time, faster
It's our
than light
Zoom.
travel.
It's our Zoom channels.
It's our mystical, magical, zoomy time.
Yeah. So I mean, jump
Not
gate isn't
wormholes
quite
at
the
all.
right word, but yeah.
No, it's not wormholes at all, actually.
No. It's more like it's zoomy channels, magic zoomy channels. But yeah, since it's a prime
it's
planet,
like
it has a magic
river.
zoomy channel.
Yes.
Subspace. Sub
Yes,
or hyper.
it's like a river through subspace of mystical energy that
Surely nothing
allows
bad could
ships
happen.
to go tens and hundreds of thousands of light years, and no one actually really knows how far these things are apart because of humanity hasn't been in space long enough. It's potentially hundreds of millions of light years between these planets that take, a short amount of time to travel because of the nature of Aetherstream magic. Now, regular planets that don't have Aetherstreams going to them, they're much closer. Like the maximum distance a ship can go is 30 light years. It's really, really small. No one knows the distance between prime planets via Aetherstream travel. And they don't even know if they're in the same place in time and space. Space, obviously they're not. So, they don't even know if it's time travel going forward or backwards in time when they go from prime planet to prime planet. Like Atlantis might be 1,000 years in the past, and its next door neighbor Desolation might be not just millions of light years away, but also 1,000 years into the future. Yeah. Good fun.
I'm
all
waiting
relative.
for space monsters to eat ships in the magical space stream.
Oh, that happens. If you hang out in Aether space for an accumulated 500-ish hours consecutively without coming back to real space, or meat space as Todd wants to call it. So I'm going to call it meat space. They're spending accumulated 500 hours in Aether space without returning to meat space. You kind of poof out of existence. No one
What do you
is
mean
really
kind of
quite sure
poof out of-
how.
Okay.
It means that nobody knows what happened to you.
Poof out of existence.
Yes, they do.
Things that happen that stay in Aether space for that long don't come back. They get eaten by space monsters, maybe.
Correct. Dire so far.
They experience SMEF, sudden massive existence failure.
They
Yeah.
experience you are gone, and we don't have to explain why, but I'm pretty sure it's space monsters.
So this is interesting because of the distance and how time works. That means that they have to be on a relative time scale that they've all agreed is like, here's what standard time is.
Well, I
Yeah,
don't know that that's
that's
all
it.
agreed. Is it?
But people don't. Yeah.
Because see, I would assume that space monsters don't believe in time, and maybe
You don't
maybe
know
you
if
get
they're space monsters or not, because the space monsters are outside of time and therefore don't count.
It
But
could
they
be
don't
that they
feel time.
just simply cease to exist because they have not touched their meatness.
Yeah,
I like
you
space
have to-
monsters.
Space monsters spend so much time in Aether space that they disincorporealized. Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like
Ghosty,
horrors in the Aether.
ghosty ghoulies. Ghosty
Well,
ghoulies.
since you brought up horrors, when people spend about 300 hours accumulated time in the Aether space, people start getting a bit mental and screwy and exhibit horror-touched behavior. Today we would call it mental illness, like so much horror-touched is. But yeah, it's totally a thing, and it's right there in the very first book with any lore in it at all. That's the Interceptor core rulebook.
Yes. Because
That's
I
the one
all of the books
that
have
you want
lore
for your
in it.
primer.
Interceptor does, Leviathan does, and I believe both of the campaign supplements do. And those are the only
The
books so far.
Leviathan,
the Leviathan
core book
rulebook
has
doesn't really.
Really? I thought it had some.
introductions to content more than anything else. So they'll give you a little example of what this might look like in the real world if there were actually people that were following these sets of rules in this particular way. But it's not really what I would call lore per se. It's more like, okay, this is 15 minutes of time of some action occurring, and then it goes on from there. It's
Yeah,
not like here's the history of,
So less
you
lore than
know,
I would have thought.
quite
yeah.
a lot less.
That's why at Origins I was, harping so much on, gee, this is something that, Aetherstream really needs, is to have a solid lore background. Most miniature games that are successful, the game has to be good and the rules have to be strong, and that all has to be a component of it. But where people buy into the game more than anywhere else is, okay, what's the history? Who are the characters? How do those characters interact with one another?
And I know
Who are
that
the
Todd
bad
wants
guys?
that expanded. I know Maddie does. I know all of us do. Did you hear, Maddie? I'm making, I have, helping Todd enforce the idea that we're getting uniforms and insignias and hats, because the military loves hats, for the different factions and for different, like, officer ranking. And I'm going to start
Absolutely.
pushing for that so that it's available for all of the artists and stuff going forward.
It
Andy,
would be nice if we had writers and artists.
Well,
are you promising Maddie another hat?
no. Does Maddie need another
Okay.
hat? Like, he still hasn't gotten his first hat. So no. This is I'm pushing, and it's something that Todd wants to. I'm pushing Dawn to do kind of an artist Bible so that we know what the uniforms look like and we can show that to potential other artists, an insignia,
Well, heck
and things like
with
that.
the Arts Bible, you need to publish that so that the people playing the game can go, hey, let's play this shit.
Here you go, Philip. I fixed that for you. Favorite faction, Babylonian.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
You're welcome. Fixed it. Thank God I'm here to help.
So, on that point, the problem is that there hasn't been a lot of people rushing to volunteer to work on Aetherstream in the creative spaces. We have
It's been harder.
Don as an artist, and we have
it has been
me
harder
as a writer.
We get a lot of people who want to do Earth Dawn,
yeah,
and even getting them to consider something like 1879 has not always been as easy. And we're pushing and working on some of that. And we're pushing the idea that if you're a freelance writer, then you should want to write for anything. Like, isn't that the point of being a freelance writer, is that you can write, much like being a freelance artist? If all you want to do is draw cutesy Pokemon things, then you're not really a freelancer. You do cutesy Pokemon things. So, working on it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I would like to see more people interested in helping write. I wish I had time to write. I don't write well, but I would do it.
Yeah, well, I speak from the position. These are all things that would be really cool. I understand the underlying producing it is. It's pie in the sky, but I have been publishing business, so I have a fair amount of knowledge as to what it takes to put out a book.
Oh, your connectivity, that's garbled. Sorry.
It's very
sorry about that.
The
yes,
other
Philip,
problem
we are
isn't
keeping
just
you chained up in a basement. Sorry, but we're keeping Philip chained up in a basement. Eventually,
I'm
maybe
sure he
he'll see
enjoys
the sun, and we'll let him work on something else.
The other problem that Aetherstream is facing isn't just a lack of bodies, but people who are willing to work to the consistent vision. Todd has
Yeah.
all
And
of
that's
this
hard.
worked out already. It's in his head, and the trouble is teasing it out of his head and getting it into other people's heads and then onto paper.
And that's a mutual type of problem, though. That's a Todd problem as well as an other person problem. It really is.
And this is why the stories that I've written are true to the setting as envisioned by Todd. They fit in with his master plans because I took the time to tease things out of his head. Unlike other things that have been written and published, and it's not throwing aspersions on it at all. It's a fun story, but the Dauntless story that was released in the Babylonian Union Kickstarter that was written by Scott Washburn. It's a good story, but so much of it was just not really compatible with the vision or even the established facts as published at that time. Yes, we have Neuralinks. They're called IMPs, neural impulse devices. I make use of them quite often in my stories that I write because they're great for exposition.
I think what we need is just you tease it out of his brain, and then you tell a writer what to write.
Or tell
Ooh,
them a writer
careful.
where they're wrong.
Or tell a writer where they went
Todd-
wrong. I'm easy.
Todd's problem is that he's not good at telling people when they're wrong and to do better.
I
am good at that because that has been my profession for many years.
Okay, but that actually is a thing. And here's the thing. And it becomes a problem for me because if he just says that he's not happy, I can't go back and be like, hey, he's not happy. I need to know why he's not happy and things like that. And he's not good at saying it. And then, and the thing is that so even I can't be a good intermary person for that. And because I can't seem to
intermediary.
Thank you. But because I need more words from Todd to do that.
So the next time, ask him, Todd, what would you like to see? Or what is your idea?
Oh, darling, you have no idea how hard it is sometimes with Todd.
I've worked with a lot of people that it's like pulling teeth with.
Todd is super sweet.
At them from different angles.
And instead of just saying it's wrong and I hate it, a lot of times he's just like, well, it's not the direction I would go. Okay, but Todd, what direction do you want to see it go? So yes, Maddie would be a big help in just simply saying it's wrong and here's why it's wrong. Because sometimes it's not even a writer's fault. I'm trying to help out the freelancers here, but it's not even totally their fault if they can't get a clear and decisive, this is broken, fix this. And that is not to say that that's been the problem with every freelance writer. Occasionally we have some freelance writers who just don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear that.
So maybe part of what needs to happen is not only do we need an artistic, as in art, Bible, but we also need a writing.
It's not that easy.
Because
writing one of those takes a lot of time. And it is a time game. I think Maddie gets it. Todd is so busy
Oh,
trying to write the actual stuff, so that writing things like I want to see this and not that, it would be helpful, but getting one isn't that easy.
Well, maybe part of what needs to happen is instead of looking at him and saying, write that, is just a notation made in a master file or submitted by when someone is working with him and he says, this is a thing, this should be canon or whatever, that gets notated so that it's easy to pass on and Todd isn't getting pelted with 20, but what about this? If there's a master file.
But
So you have an
that
artist.
master file is basically a writer's Bible. And again, if it was only so simple, trust me, if it was only so simple.
Yeah. So the easy solution to this is the FASA wiki.
Which is we are working on and building, but we go back to the having to have the time to build it.
I'm aware
Yeah.
of that, and I'm aware of all of the problems around
Yeah,
it.
I know.
But the easy solution to the dissemination of the law problem and getting writers on board in small chunks is publishing small chunks of law in various places on the wiki so
Yeah.
that people can look at some of them for free and then pay for the game details, like the ship variants that we've been designing in the backs of our heads, and the alternate rule sets that we've been designing in our heads, and all of this other fun stuff.
So Philip,
And anything
Maddie
with
is
real
very
art.
right in the fact that instead of like trying to outline books, it needs to be in smaller, more easily digestible
Manageable
chunks.
I'm talking novellas. I'm talking like maybe 100,
Yes.
200 pages max.
No,
Like
even
old
at that,
battles
that's too big. Like this needs to be 5-page short stories.
Actually,
Vignettes.
what you need more than that is, like Maddie just told us, there are so many planets within the known space. And okay, here's what I didn't know: there was an Atlantis planet that was all water. This is the first that I've ever heard of it. If there was a place I could go and all it has to exist with Atlantis, planet size, main residence, maybe 15 criteria that you decide, okay, here's the starting point of what's going to define a planet.
A compendium.
And I know that
So-
that some of that's done. I know that he's worked on some of that.
That is, that's actually a thing that exists and is published online already. We're just not talking
is it?
about it because it's not done. There's still some kinkiness and weirdness and stuff. But
I knew he'd been working on it.
We do have a stellar system generator. We do have a cluster map generator. I could show you. Yeah, actually, why don't I do that?
Because then we have to kill them, Maddie. Oh, wait, we don't. Sorry, my bad.
I was going to say, not if you want any work to get done.
Well, if we're all dead, there's no work to do. Gosh, darn it all. This is a better solution than I thought. Here, please drink this Kool-Aid.
No, don't drink the Kool-Aid, people.
Then there will be no work to do. We'll all be dead and be happy. I'm sure that's peaceful.
Peaceful is not always the goal.
It's not?
It is what we
Absolutely.
strive for a lot.
So that's a
Graphic representation of the universe.
It's a
graphical
firework.
representation.
It's a graphical representation of the Atlantis stellar cluster. Atlantis is one of the dots sitting right at the center of that, and every one of these other dots is around it. And on this website that Todd's built, it's in 3 dimensions. You can pan around it, you can zoom in.
Mhm.
Every one of these planets has a name. There's travel distances and relative positions on X, Y, and Z axes from relative to the prime planet at the center. It's really cool. And then you can go in and look at a specific planet. You learn about its neighbors and how far away they are and how long it takes to travel to them. You can look at the contents of that stellar system, the type of star, the planets, features on planets. You can learn about things in orbit, man-made structures. You can learn about points of interest. Who owns it? Who runs things on which planet, on which moon, on which asteroid part of it, where they all are relative to each other.
And that's the baseline information that any author needs to have before they can even come up with a story that they want to tell.
There's more to it than that. I mean, there's learning the type of language, like, is there a Neuralink? Yes, it's called an imp. There's a lot of that little stuff and the details. And like I said, Maddie's not wrong in the fact that Todd is just too nice and doesn't like to tell people that it's wrong and it needs to be fixed sometimes. And I don't know enough about what's in Todd's head to be as much help with that as I would like to be. But doing things like having this is what the uniforms look like, this is the insignias look like, this is, helps to build all of that so that eventually we end up with what's a lot closer to a writer's Bible of, here is all the correct terminology, here is the space map, here is what that looks like, so you don't write something silly there. Temp category, scalding. Well, that doesn't sound so pleasant.
Well, it's not, because that's the one that's closest to the sun.
112 Celsius. F that.
Yeah, so
that's not even a good vacation
Mercury.
spot. Mercury.
That's Mercury.
Yes.
Atlantis Prime 3, the third planet out from the sun, is the ocean planet.
Oh, it's breathable. It's a little cold.
With exotic resources and lots of fungi.
But it's cold.
Frigid.
-3. That's. Where's it? Where's 2? Is 2
Negative
better?
-3 degree. -3 degrees is like 30 degrees for you guys in Fs.
Yeah, I'm a hothouse lily.
And that's an average mean. It's not the entire planet. It's got nice beaches, and on the beaches at the equator, it's warm.
Okay.
These are planets. They're not geological monoliths.
That's true.
Earth-like planets.
That's true. But yeah,
no,
I
these
think
temperatures cannot be in freedom units because that's stupid. We left that shit behind. Thousands of years ago on Earth, when Earth went fucking poof and disappeared, and no one knows where it went or what happened to it.
it was eaten by space monsters.
It was probably a calculation error.
It is possible that it was eaten by space monsters.
Thank you.
We don't know. It was just gone one day, along with the sun and everything else in the stellar system.
But yeah, this is the type of stuff that eventually we can use to build up, to make it a little easier for writers. But Maddie's been really great at teasing stuff out of Todd's brain. We just have to tease enough out to make it a little bit easier.
Well, you just have to tell Todd that
needs to be evil.
Until all of the exposition comes out of his brain, he has to edit every single story that comes out about Aetherstream so that
nothing will ever get done. Ever.
Yeah, no.
There is another consideration here, in that someone needs to tell Ross that if you want all of this stuff done, then Ross can't have his games.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell Ross that. Do you want to tell Ross that?
You're not
We're
asking me.
We're going to spend the next 5 years working on lore instead.
I was going to say, you're not asking me that, because that is not. But it is part of part of it is sometimes we've had freelancers who don't want to be told they're wrong or that they need to rewrite something. That has happened. And sometimes I've
seen that in Aetherstream.
Yeah, and sometimes we've had periods where Todd needs to put his foot down harder. And it's finding that happy medium and getting there. But Yes.
And then there was the time where you forced Todd to have a nervous breakdown and he put his foot down, and then the guy didn't want to listen to it anyway.
I did not force Todd to have a nervous breakdown.
He had one, though.
I did not. That was not my fault. Do not blame me for that. I did not do that. I am actually relatively protective of Todd because I don't want Todd to have a nervous breakdown, you know. But
It's
don't.
just his nature. He's too nice.
He's very, very much too nice, and he doesn't actually even like it when I'm like, you need protecting, because he doesn't want to see himself as needing protecting, but I think he does because he's too nice. But I did not cause Todd to have a nervous breakdown. Now, if you told me Ross caused it, I might be like, yeah, But not me. I'm nice. Most of the time.
Artists have become even more fragile in the last 6 years as well.
It's
all artists.
Crazy time to be like creating art when you're competing against not only
They
your
call
own issues, but also like everything else in the universe. And then you have stupid people who come up with your stuff's AI generated, even if it's not, or whatever. So yeah, it's a
not
crazy time
that.
to be
It's not
artist.
that. Sorry, but no, they are. There's a lot more to it than that. There's a lot of stuff with artists that they can't take any criticism. Like, you would not believe how many writers we've had ghost because one thing about what you wrote we didn't like. And they storm off like little something or others. Like, they have become particularly just, in some cases, fragile.
Precious.
Yeah. And everything about their
Well,
stuff is
that's
tragic,
also
and
the
how dare
difference.
you not like something? How dare you not like something?
The other part of
Well-
this is it's also a difference between quote unquote artists and people who are commercial artists and understand that they may have to edit or change or
Here's the thing. If
there
you are
is-
being paid to write in somebody else's IP, then you have to learn to live in their IP. If you want to write your own novel that has nothing to do with my IP, go forth. Have fun. Hope you get published.
So
If you
it is
here, Philip, you freelance, and occasionally we've said
Yeah.
something like that doesn't work, right? And
Oh,
you
yeah.
have not yet cried and stomped off like a little bitch.
Well, what it comes down to is it's a matter of confidence as an artist. If you have confidence in yourself as an artist, then you realize that you are doing work for someone else. If you don't
Yes.
have confidence in yourself, like I can go and just spend infinite amount of time on my own projects and get nowhere with them if, need be. But the truth of it is, it's like I like freelancing. I like working for people. And since a lot of people just see freelancing as a side hustle now, they kind of don't give it the respect that it's due, that it's the weight. And I'm not saying other people, I'm saying freelancers themselves don't give
Yeah.
the work the respect it's due.
So
It's like you're
look,
doing an important
if you
task.
are doing art that is your art and is your clear visioning, and you're not expecting someone to pay for it, or you might sell your finished product as you see fit, right? That's fine. That's awesome. Go right ahead. I have nothing against that. If you go to a company or somebody else and say, I'm willing to write for your IP, then you have to be willing to stay in the freaking guardrails.
Yeah.
And you
I
can't
think
be
the
a
other thing was it used
baby.
to be too that artists really often would go, I'm interested in pursuing this as a career. I will go freelance. I will go work under different IPs. I will get my experience and I will learn how to take the attaboys and the you didn't quite make it this time. And that will help me to become a better artist so that when I decide to break out on my own, I have the skills and the knowledge to do that. Now, I think it's very much a case that people are like, well, I'm an artist because I've decided I'm an artist, which
Even
there's
if
nothing
your
wrong
work
with that.
sucks.
But they do not have any of the acquired business skills and interpersonal skills of working with others on cooperative
Look,
projects, like working on somebody
I
else's IP or
have
whatever,
I have
to help
had
make that work.
so many, and I will be honest with you, this is the part that gets me the worst, is writers worse than actual pen and paper or tablet and stylus artists. I've had more writers get mad that their precious baby didn't work. And it might just be an aspect of it. Like we might be like, this is all great, we can work with all this, but this one thing here, can't do that. We're not adding more forever living, unkillable people to Urton. We're not doing that today, right? Well, then they just ghost. Because how dare you question them? And I can't tell you how many times we've had that happen. And on more than one occasion, these same people have come back being like, yeah, I was having a moment, but you didn't talk to me about your moment. You didn't talk to me about anything. You just quit responding, period. I have had less trouble with artists than I have writers in that. And the ego with some of these freelance writers, like you're not published, you've never been published, or you've barely been published, or you're self-published. But how dare you tell my line director that, they don't know anything. And that you know their line better than them.
Yeah.
Schools get visual artists better prepared to take criticism.
They seem to. I don't know why, but they really do.
That's because, and this is a problem I had when I was going to school for writing, they don't really critique your work enough.
Yeah.
They refuse because they're like, well, it's art and it's valid. I'm like, well, no, it's a craft as well. So you need to say, what is this not conveying? What is this not doing?
What is wrong about it becomes the question.
Well, I mean, okay, I've been a storyteller for a GM storyteller for 30 years. And I still to this day will have a story that falls flat for some reason or another. But gosh darn it all, if people hadn't been willing to talk to me and help me realize where it went flat in the beginning, I would have gotten nowhere. You need not mean, but constructive criticism. This
Absolutely.
didn't work because.
Absolutely. But see, people
they don't even they just you said no to me and how dare you, and they want to break their crayons and stomp off, or their writing pencil.
See, you used to be in public school, you used to get criticism, constructive or not. That was part of what happened. You passed, you failed, right? And then at some point they went, well, we can't fail people. We can't tell them that it's not good, because that affects their person, how they view themselves as a person, and how they interpret themselves. The problem is, though, is that's not the way the universe works. We're not all perfect all the time. And especially in a work environment, and artists kind of have this, but I'm an artist and I can be temperamental, because it's not work, it's art. The answer is, if you want to make a living at it, it's got to be both.
Work. No,
It's
it
work.
is work at that point. And you have to be able to accept that you are working versus you are just creating for creative sake. You have to have a differentiation.
If you are creating for creativity's sake and you don't care if it sells, go forth, have fun. My father took a goldsmithing class, and at the time he was actually taking it at MSU, now SMSU back then, MSU now, which is a state university. Okay. And they rejected his original designs because they were not three-dimensional enough. They weren't artsy enough. And so I started doing a lot of his design part for him, because I would just come up with the weirdest, stupidest things I could come up. None of this was practical to wear. It wouldn't have been comfortable to wear as jewelry. But the art teacher liked it so much better. And it was like, but you couldn't sell any of it. Not one of those pieces would sell Nobody would wear that.
But it's art.
But it's art. But it's not, that's not going to help you as a jewelry maker making jewelry to, I don't know, keep your freaking lights on.
But see, the thing, she wasn't teaching. She was teaching a smithing class, an art smithing class, not a. But
it,
like when I went to college, a whole lot of pick your instructor just as carefully pick the classes, because might be two goldsmithing classes. One of them is a what we call practical, like how to make shit people can use, right? And we'll purchase versus
you're very
how
robotic.
to just a second.
And I understand that she thinks she's teaching an art class, but here's the thing. Most of those people aren't going to be able to sell art as jewelry.
Yes.
And it's not a practical skill. It doesn't help them, again, keep the freaking lights on and a roof over their head. And one of the things my father used to say was that if you walked in, it is better. Like, there was actually a guy who wanted a diamond-studded donkey's butt. And you can figure where the diamond stud went. And basically, the guy said he'd been called a jackass his whole life, so he was going to be a fancy one. And he apparently had gone to other goldsmiths, and they refused to do it. And Dad's like, your money's just as good as anybody else's. That's what you want. I'll make it. Because here's the thing. We like keeping the lights on. We like keeping the utilities clear. You take the job. Even if it's not your favorite job. Or, I mean, until you get to a point where you're so good that you don't have to. That you can pick and choose what jobs. I will say that I'm very saddened by the amount of writers that seem to have a much harder time with, and again, we're not even talking about mean stuff like your work is shit, we hate it, go away, never darken my doorstep. I've never said anything like that to any of our freelance writers, not once. We've said things like, that's not gonna fit, or we love all of this, but this aspect here doesn't work in the world. Like, it turns out you can't just be willy-nilly putting teleporters and spaceships in Erton. Doesn't work.
No.
Doesn't work. I need you not to do that. I
don't even have teleporters in Aetherstream.
But that's it. So, and some writers are like, oh, okay, cool. And I love them. I love them so much because they're chill and they're great to work for. Like, I love Alan Farr, who's written several books for us. And then occasionally we get one of these freelance writers who's just starting out, who like snaps their keyboard and throws it at me and stomps off. And then 6 months to a year later comes back with, so I may have been having a moment. And I wish I'd handled that better. On occasion, if it wasn't too bad, I've even given some of those people second chances. I've gotten much worse about giving them second chances. I don't seem to want to anymore. Early on, I was much more, well, maybe they didn't, maybe their dog died and we didn't know. And now I'm just like, no, I'm not doing this. Yes, perhaps your clone will do better. That is where I'm at now. Your cult of teleporting horror touch. The cult of horror touch works. Just drop the teleporting, dude. We're chill.
How dare you try to change anything about my precious baby? I'm now ghosting everybody.
You do know I'm going to go into the whole part, but basically they wanted the leader of this other area in the Erton setting to basically be an immortal. And I basically was like, okay, every country can't have an immortal leader. Like, that just doesn't work. right? What if it's like the Dread Pirate Roberts, though? Like they wear a mask or something and they tell the populace that's one person, but everybody knows it's not one person, right?
I'm number 7,142,
Right.
and
Dread
there are
Pirate Roberts.
franchise opportunities available.
Like Dread Pirate Roberts this, right? I didn't even say that you couldn't do, I just was like, can we do this instead? So you're still keeping the idea, and it didn't change much to the story. But they got mad over that and like totally walked off. They did come back during COVID. Apparently, money was hard to come by during COVID. And they came back during COVID, and I was sorry that they came back. But it didn't change anything from where I was at that point. I will also say that I'm not mentioning the fact that I sat there for months emailing, and we all know how much I hate emailing. Lady Six knows how much I hate emailing. I was emailing once a week or so for like a few months, being like, hi, I don't understand what happened. Why aren't you answering? Are you okay? Did something happen? What's going on? And they ignored every
I know
freaking one of them.
I know your characters are immortal, but did you die?
Right? Right? Exactly, sir. And they never answered one of them. And then like a couple of years later, whatever it was, in the middle of COVID, then they're like, hey, about that. And I'm like, no. And I think part of it was the fact that they didn't even bother to respond to one of those emails. Like, I didn't know, like, we're all very virtual. We're all very spread out. Like, not that I want this to happen to any of you, but I don't live near enough. I wouldn't know your real name necessarily. I wouldn't know, if you had been in a car accident or something like that. I wouldn't know. I would hope that somebody we've been close enough with Maddie, and Maddie's been very involved in a lot of projects and everything, that somebody would let us know that something happened to Maddie. If something did happen, don't anything happen to Maddie. We love Maddie.
Please don't let anything happen to Maddie.
Sorry, what was that, Maddie?
Remind me to make that provision in my will.
Please do. But don't anything happen to you. So, but think about it though. Like, how would we know? All of a sudden you just wouldn't show up, right? Like, we'd be wigged out. If you didn't show up for a week and you weren't answering any of us, we would start to wig out. We'd be like, what happened to Maddie?
Wigging would definitely occur.
By the way, since the talk today is about Aetherstream, Todd just released the new rules for fighters.
Does it involve fire?
It is in the Aetherstream general chat.
No doom koalas. Don't go near doom koalas, and don't put jumper cables on your nipples. Those are both very good life lessons. No doom koalas and no jumper cables on nipples. Avoid those, Maddie.
I will try my hardest.
But
wow,
yeah.
Sarah.
I don't control Sarah. Sarah doesn't even control Sarah.
Oh shit.
Okay. I have to give props to Philip because he's got a Scooby-Doo ghost, and that's just, like classic.
All right. So, Maddie, which is your favorite faction?
So, I really shouldn't have one.
But you do. And
that was very diplomatic, Maddie.
And it's the Babylonians.
It isn't the Babylonians.
Damn you, Maddie.
I've been a fan of the Calistonian Empire from the start.
Ha!
I like their dogmatic, their faith in a glorious singular leader, but also they have a secret police enforcing it. I like the designs of the ships. The space truck is my favorite design in Interceptor. I mean, there's 50 models in Interceptor, and the space truck is my favorite of them, and has been my favorite of them since the first time Interceptor got kickstarted. I love the space truck, and I like that it's a good thing in game, at least in Leviathan. But I do like them all. They're all different mindsets. They're all
have good points
cool.
and bad points. And even though I'm definitely probably more of a Leviathan interested, I actually spent some time at Origins looking over some of the beautifully painted by Maddie Interceptor ships. I think I
didn't
spent
paint
more
the
time.
Interceptors.
You didn't paint the Interceptors?
No,
Dan
Dan
paint those?
painted those.
Well, he did a good job.
He did a damn good job.
He did a good job.
He did a damn good job.
I spent more time looking at them this time than I think I have in the past. And I think I'm still solidly Babylonian by the looks of the ships.
There are some cool designs.
Yeah.
And for the keen-eyed, here's a trick. Go and figure out which ones are the ones that were just ripped off from Renegade Legion. Because there's a couple.
Shh, no such thing.
Renegade Legion is fine. It's a good gateway into Aetherstream.
It is.
So just yesterday on my Instagram page, a guy messages me at random on one of the Leviathan posts saying, "Oh, is this related to Renegade Legion? I loved Renegade Legion." I'm like, "No, dude, this is better than Renegade Legion. This is the current version of the game world because there's an IP squatter, but also it's faster playing for today's busy gamer. But it's got all the great roots from the 80s, and even Ross Babcock, who you know from all of the best games in the 80s and 90s. He's involved as one of the designers." And this guy's like, "Oh shit, that's cool. I'm going to go buy the rules." And I'm like, "Here's a link."
I do have to say that when I was doing my demos in the game store, I was able to run 3 full demos with questions and answers and everything in about 2 hours. So, I mean, it was
It's quick.
fast.
I compare it to be like Alpha Strike for BattleTech. It's
Yeah.
faster playing for today's gamer. It's more abstracted than the old Renegade
I
Legion
missed
games.
so much of the other stuff in BattleTech that I can't get behind Alpha Strike. It hurts me on a deep level.
And that's been the problem with some of the old Renegade Legion diehards, who are butthurt that this is not a one-for-one copy of the 80s rulebooks.
Yeah.
But the problem with that
I'm
is
sure.
that a lot of your modern players won't. It's
Exactly.
and it's a problem that
Well,
we
I mean-
have with gaming in the gaming industry and some of the older IPs as a general rule. I mean, even with like Earth Dawn, there are people who are first ed only first ed rules, first ed, and fourth ed actually just streamlined a bit of things. I don't think it really took away from what made Earth Dawn great. It just streamlined part of it. But there are people who,
Right.
how dare you touch it? At the same time, it's still probably way too crunchy for a lot of your more modern, quote, RPG players. So you can't seem to win for losing. Either you tick off your old school people because it's too modernized, or you keep your old school people, but the new people won't touch it because it's not modern enough. So anytime
Or
you're
you
touching,
have
I think,
things
older
like
IPs.
BattleTech where you have 2 audiences basically. I know tons of people that still play first and second edition BattleTech because they want that 15 minutes of
Crunch.
yeah, I just noticed that my mic is being weird. So what I was saying was you have audiences for BattleTech today. You have the old timers are still playing first and second edition and like spending 15 minutes building a mech. And then you have people that are, doing the new stuff and they have a choice.
Which works when you own all of the editions.
Yeah, that granted.
And here's the thing, like we tell people all the time with like Earth Dawn, if you want to play first ed rules and just keep running with the lore and pick up, the lore books, that's cool. I have no problem with it. I don't. But we do hit that range of I don't want to tick off my core fandom. At the same time, if you look at a lot of modern players, we're still too crunchy in certain respects. And so I think that it's almost a good thing that this isn't a one for one, it's Renegade Legion. Aetherstream is its own baby. You see nods too, but it's its own baby. And so you don't have to fight but it's not exactly. You're right, it's not exactly because it's not. And we're not pretending it is.
Mm.
And that's important. That I think is actually a place where FASA has been successful, is that you're very clear in this is what this is. This is not what it was.
I and I tease Ross all the time, like at Origins at Gen Con, that almost 50 years of game, but he does have almost 50 years of game design experience, and Todd has almost 20. So between the two of them alone is almost 70 years of game design experience, and they put in Maddie's time, and they put their heart and souls into that game, and I think it shows through. I really do.
Thank you for the reminder for FASA Movie Night, Maddie. Appreciate it.
Oh,
Welcome.
yeah. I thought about that earlier this week, and was very disappointed when it didn't happen.
It didn't, because it was wrong Monday.
It wasn't supposed to be on Monday, but I'm not real bright, and I was disappointed.
I'm sorry. You'll be surprised and happy next week. I was gonna see if I could find the list of who's the next few months. It's back here someplace. I'm gonna look for it.
Dire Sith Lord's got this month.
Oh, dear
Sarah's got
goodness.
next month.
Run a friend. I'm
Sarah,
looking forward to it.
I trust Sarah. Dire Sith Lord, I don't know.
Wait, why you trust me?
I do. I trust you. Dire Sith Lord, I trust to make my brain itch. But by the way, thank you again for coming out this morning and helping and joining the other podcast. I did appreciate that. I found my puppy's name, so I gotta be close. But yeah, so who's after Sarah? Did we pick after Sarah?
Well, I need to change the date for Saturday, September. Fuck's sake, because
you have an appointment.
It's not my girlfriend's birthday, but I do have a doctor's appointment.
Yeah, you said you had a doctor's appointment.
Because I don't particularly want to go blind.
I don't want you
that
to
would be
either.
important.
All right, here's
it would
the
make
list.
painting more difficult.
It would.
It does.
You know
do
who
that.
needs to do October? Maddie needs to do October.
Yeah, I haven't done a movie in quite a while.
Yeah, I think you need to do October. When I do this today. Haha. So I think we have to move the date for September. So I'll have to fix that.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We have time. Jump to present. Get down there. There it is. All right. And then I will edit that over here. And we will put always right Maddie. And now I don't have to think about this for a bit again. Yeah, we just had to change the date. So yeah. Dire Sith, then Sarah, then Mr. Pink, then always right Maddie. We don't have to think about this again until close to December. Look at us.
Being all
organized for me.
We are pretty
Oh, which reminds
organized
me,
because
Odyssey,
Maddie
are you
keeps
going to
us in
start
charge.
joining the movie night? Because we could totally pick a movie.
If you show up more than once, that's kind of the general rule. If you show up more than once, you will probably get asked to pick a movie. Just
It's a thing.
know it. And if you don't show up, then we'll just like make Philip do it.
Not a bad thing, really.
I have a rather wide collection of movies that range from mind-bending to entertaining.
We did find mind bending and entertaining, so it was a good crosshair. I thought it was good. All right, I am going to have to shut this down because I apparently am babysitting. And I told them that they could not come until after 9, and I have not heard my doorbell, which means I should probably end this before the doorbell starts.
Okay, well, you have fun.
Yeah, my friend's daughter has to be in St. Louis, so they have to leave at like 4 a.m. And my choices for babysitting was have them drop off kid at 4 a.m. or take the kid overnight. I like sleep. I do not like 4 a.m. Although I might need to set an alarm so I can get up and take Imperial Princess out at like 5 a.m. because she's still little. So, but then hopefully she will curl back up and go to sleep. Sorry, what?
I said it's a thing.
It is because she's tiny and
Well,
tiny little bladder.
It was awesome tonight, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who made it, who came.
Ideas for next week? Pop them up in the thing. I feel almost bad for Bearded Kilt. I don't think he realized that anything you put in the podcast text will probably show up on a podcast. It's a thing. So,
well, he and I have been having very interesting painting discussions over in the Aetherstream chat. So,
well, I'm gonna have to look into these pens because I didn't even know that I'm gonna have to look at those. I didn't know about those. Yes, Maddie is awesome
for certain things. What I find is nice about the pens is like if I'm doing an entire army's worth of models, 40 or 50 at a time, and I need to do the boots on 40 or 50 models at the same time, I can take the pen, which doesn't have to, it's boots, it doesn't have to be great quality. I can take the pen and I never have to dip back into the paint. And it actually saves me, sometimes 20 or 30 minutes just not having to constantly go back into the paint to get paint. It's all there in the pen and I just do one after the other.
That's
and
cool.
It becomes a Zen thing.
That's cool. All right, guys. I'm going to say goodnight. Lady Styx has said goodnight. Mr. Pink, my darling.
All.
And always right, Maddie.
Night.
Bye.
Philip. Sarah.
Maddie, it's not night for you.
No, but I wish I was going back to bed.
Maddie, I give
morning.
you permission to go back to bed.
I second her permission.
You're welcome.
Yeah, but it's permission from the person who counts that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I count, damn it, Maddie.
unfortunately.
I count.
You're not my girlfriend.
No, I'm not.
You're not even my mom.
I am not. I could be old enough to be, though.
You're not.
Pretty-
You are
I
not.
can only count
Pretty
to
close.
4.
Dyer said, do you want to say goodnight?
Good night.
Odyssey, did you say goodnight?
I don't know. Did I?
I don't know. Good night. All right. With that, I am ending the stream.